All right, the next knot I want to show you is definitely one of my top 3 favorite knots. I've been doing this knot since I was a kid. It's called the trucker's hitch, and it's really awesome knot for really tightening things down really tight. If you want to lash something to a trailer or tie a tarp really tight, something like that, the trucker's hitch is the best knot, I believe. So we have this other line already attached to a tree over here, and essentially we're going to stretch one line from another. We're going to stretch from here over there, and now we just have to make a loop in this line. So I'm going to use a figure-8 knot like I showed you guys earlier, okay? Just because it's a little bit easier to get undone than an overhand loop. It's getting cold out here and my fingers are getting a little bit numb. Okay, so we've got a figure-8 knot, and we're going to go around the object that we want to tighten to, and then we're going to go back through our loop. All right, and actually I need to cut this rope a little shorter so I can show you this. So we're going to go through our loop, and then we're going to pull this really tight, and because we have this rope wrapping around here and back around here, we're giving ourselves a lot more leverage. All right, so in fact you can do an alternate version of this if you need to get it even tighter than this, where you have a loop here and then another loop over here, and you actually go through this loop and then back through this loop, and you can pull those 2 loops together and you can get it even tighter. Okay, so once we have this tight as we need it, we can pinch this down and we can just put a slip knot here, okay, right here on the end here. And so it'd be very easy to get out, very secure, and get it really tight. All right, another tip is that when we're trying to secure this, it's tricky sometimes when you have this under a lot of load, a really heavy load, to get this to not slip out when you're trying to tie this knot here, okay? So another trick is to actually wrap this through 2 times if you're going to put it under a really heavy load, and then when you pull it really tight, it kind of cinches itself. So you can see that I'm pulling it tight, I'm actually letting go of this and not having it undo. So then we can put a slip knot locker in here just to make sure it's not going to come undone. And then if I really want it to be secure, then I could put an overhand knot in line here to make sure it's really secure if it's going to be more permanent. Then I can easily untie this overhand and take out my slip knot, and then I can work this back through and pretty easily undo that double and let the whole thing down. Okay, so that's a trucker's hitch. You can use it to bundle things, you can use it to lash things down anytime you need to really put a lot of tension in a line. One thing to remember is that if you make this loop, you want to make this loop in the right spot. If you make it too far away and this end is not far enough to get to the loop, then it won't work. If you make it too close and then you put your end through the loop and then you try and tighten it up and it tightens up into whatever object you're trying to tighten to, then that also won't work. So you just want to make sure that you have this loop in the right location, and you generally want to kind of pull your line snug before you figure out, okay, pull my line snug, I have this much left over, I want to put my loop right here, let it go, tie your loop, and then tie your trucker's hitch. Okay? All right, so definitely one of your top 5 knots you should know.